All right, we got a quick movie review. So, Black Phone 2, I know it's been how many months since this came out. Kind of catching up. This is going to be mostly, if I do movie reviews, it's going to be mostly like thrillers and horrors, because that's kind of what I consider my wheelhouse. I really like horrors. And particularly, I kind of like popcorn flick horrors. I like the corny jump scare. I like that stuff, if it's done well, obviously. So, I was really excited to see the preview for Black Phone 2. I thought Black Phone 1, and you can see my rating right there already. Let me explain. Black Phone 1 I gave, I think like a 9 or like, out of 10, or like a 4.5, which might be a little, nice to the movie. Maybe it was like a 4, maybe it was a 4 star for me. I think this one was good. Like, I don't know if it was really as good as the first, and the reason why too is because this is one thing about going into movies. There's some movies you see and you're like, just you want to tell people, if you suggest the movie, just don't look up anything on the movie. Don't look up what it's about. Don't look up the meanings or the character. Just don't look up anything. And Black Phone 2 had the preview, and I'm like, okay, a preview done right, gets you stoked for the movie. And so, one, let me just say there's spoilers in every video, right? There's going to be spoilers in every one of my videos. First one, the grabber, he was this notorious, in the neighborhood, people were getting snatched up, right? These kids. And I think he killed them or sold them off or whatever, I forget what it was. So he kept this kid, he's older now. He kept this kid in his basement, and then he would get a phone ring. He has some kind of gift, some kind of like psychic gift or something, to the spirit realm, I guess. I think it is particular to him and his family or whatever. It's not just like the phone itself is magic. I don't know, maybe the phone's a little magic, but I think it had to do with him particularly being kind of like a semi-psychic or something person. So the phone would ring, and he would basically talk to these spirits of these kids that the grabber killed, and they would help him do, little things in the basement to increase his odds of living or hiding or whatever, preparing him to fight the grabber, the one kid. And yeah, it wasn't all like super serious. I mean, he's talking to like ghosts on the phone, right? But the one kid, I think, prepared him by like teaching him karate or something. I forget exactly. And then one told him about, it's been a while since I've seen the first one, but like another one told him about like a hole in the wall or a string or like a rope or something. I forget exactly. But overall, I thought it was really well done. It was I hate to just use the word atmospheric. You could just keep saying it was so atmospheric, but it was like the atmosphere was good. I think the shots were really good. It was very well done. I think Ethan Hawke did a good job. I mean, considering he's wearing a mask too, he really came through even while wearing a mask. His like evil character really. Like his personality, I'm not saying the personality of even Ethan Hawke came through, obviously, but his character came through even with this inanimate object, this mask on, which is a creepy mask, obviously, too. So the second one, I was stoked. I thought they were taking it kind of a different direction, which they did a little bit, but the preview was like this, Dream Warrior Freddy Krueger 80s style slasher, it looked like, and I'm like, this is cool. He's dead now. So he dies in the first one, and spoilers. Ethan Hawke's character dies, the grabber dies, the kid kills him somehow. I kind of forget exactly. He beats him down or something, or hits him with a shovel. I don't remember. I'm saying that as a joke. I don't remember how he kills him. But so he's dead, and the trailer was like hype, man. He was just like, sometimes death is just a word. And he's got like ice skates and an axe, and this like, he's like a frozen, he rips off his mask at one point, and he's like this like, it rips his like skin off. He's like this like ghost demon zombie thing that's like living out of pure, hatred and spite and whatever for the kid foiling his plan of snatching up kids or whatever. So he's almost like this hateful entity now. And the setting was like, Chef's Kiss. It was Chef's Kiss, spot on, perfect. It was like this like basically abandoned camp. I don't remember what state they live in, but it's like this almost abandoned whatever, like summer camp, it was like winter camp because it was snowing. It was like a blizzard, so they were kind of like blizzard in when they went to this camp, which took a little bit for them to get there. That's kind of my criticism with Black Phone 2. I thought it was good, but he was a lot slower than the preview kind of alluded it to being. And I feel like the preview really did kind of show all the like hype moments, like the cool moments. And I thought the formula would be the here's the problem with Black Phone. And I say here's the problem, like I thought it was a good movie, but here's the problem with Black Phone. The first movie worked because it was like an investigative kind of horror, and he's like in this basement, and it's very it's like first person. You feel this kid, you're feeling for this kid. He's like in this basement, and he's trying to survive. He's trying to prolong this snatcher grabber getting him whatever, and he taking him upstairs, or beating him up or whatever. He's trying to stay away from him, physically, psychologically. He's trying to stay away from him. And these ghosts are basically helping him. So the perspective is like you're kind of like you're empathizing with this one person. And then the second the preview comes out, and you see a little group of kids. So, and then you see this like Dream Warrior aspect where he's like dead now. He's like a ghost with like ice skates and an axe, like haunting this summer camp. And you can't help but get the vibes of like the Jason like slasher. It gives you the vibe of slashers, like the summer camp and like the Dream Warrior. He's literally haunting the girl's dreams, fighting her in the dreams and stuff, which those were some of the better parts of the movie. They did that really well. But here's the problem. They almost put too much stock in these characters being so, I don't know how relatable they are, but they really try to like craft these characters like they're your family. And there was like this kid, his sister. They were two obviously very main characters, and then like one other kid. So the cast wasn't like, this is not a typical summer camp. There's 7, 8, 9 kids, and we could slash up 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So it's like the preview kind of alluded to like these kids getting like slashed up, hacked up, which I'm not even that into slashers, but I just thought the vibe would be more like fast-paced slasher with like crazy effects and like faster-paced stuff going on. But it also, this movie kind of it was also like an investigative movie, kind of where the phone on the lake rang, and then they were picking up the phone, and he was picking up the phone, and then she was talking to these dead kids, I think in her dream. So they were both kind of doing the same thing through different means. He was using the phone, and she was using her dreams. They're both kind of like these psychic people. And it's like they can't really kill off these characters, and I'm thinking like, this is rated R, right? And there was other characters too, and what details? What is this? Is this rated R? Is it in the details? I don't know. It doesn't tell you the rate. I think it's rated R, I believe. So they have 3 kids, and then they go to the camp, and that's it. That's the only kids. And it's like, I guess they want to prevent him from killing people, right? That's their goal. So it would be kind of like counterintuitive with the plot to like allow him to just slash up the whole camp. It wouldn't be much of a happy ending where they defeat the evil, snatcher. So in a way, grabber, sorry. But I get that. But at the same time, the way that the preview showed it, it kind of, I was thinking it was more the direction of just kind of like fun popcorn flick slasher, and it was a little more of a serious tone and slower paced, investigative, and it wasn't like that interesting when it came to that aspect of it. You got the kids, and they're like in the windows, like it's like they're trying to scare you at these kids, but the kids are like, they're innocent. They're just trying to get information and we kind of know that at this point too with the Black Phone. So in a way, I wish it didn't stagnate with that element of like, it's this investigative horror thriller. I wish they did take it another direction. I think that would have been a really good transition for the series to just actually kind of go in a more like slasher direction. And then they eventually defeat him in the end with casualties, fun casualties of people flipping out of bunks and blood spewing. That I was thinking that was like a girl's neck. It was just like her arm or something. So she didn't even end up dying. Not that people have to die in horror for it to be good, but basically just kind of, a little bit of a misrepresentation, I guess, at least that I got out of it, the previews. And let's see, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and there was some counselors or whatever, and there was another. Oh, I'm sorry, there was four teens, and the one teen was like the daughter of such and such. She was like the camp girl, and she like, I think she might have been like, if I remember correctly, she was like almost like cowgirl, rode horses. She was like a Native American girl or something, and like she was around the age of the kid. And it's like it doesn't need it doesn't need like a love interest thing, obviously, but it's like almost like they were kind of like hinting at that, and then nothing came of it whatsoever. And the only reason I say this is like it doesn't need a love interest thing. It really doesn't. You know, a lot of ways that can take away from movies. But the sister kind of had a thing with like the guy there, and they were being like corny, like he's whispering things to her in the bunk or whatever, and then they get in trouble because they were like kind of like bunking it because they were scared or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, like what the character development aspect is like. He's like messed up from his childhood, and he like gets in a fight in school in the start, and then he like learns to like love again, basically in the end of the movie. I mean, I'm not being serious, but it was kind of like in a way it's kind of corny. Like, yeah, I don't know, you know, I gotta realize that it's a gift and not a curse, and da da da. That and but so anyway, there was more counselors in the in the movie. There was like I think three. There was like a couple, and then the main counselor, who was a really cool dude. He was like in jail before. He had like tattoos, but he was like a cool sweater guy now with like longer hair. He was a cool character. I don't think anyone ended up dying at all, and so you have a cast of like seven people, and they kind of marketed it as almost like a slasher, like a Dream Warrior, Freddy Krueger, like 80s movie type slasher. And yeah, no one ended up dying. So, and then they're like beating him up, and it's like he's in the dream realm, and then he's like fighting her in the dream realm in the end, and then he's like beating him up. He's like invisible. He's in the dream realm, and then he's just like hitting the air, like basically punching like an invisible ghost guy. And it was like it was kind of cool. Like I'm not really criticizing that necessarily, but I think the faster paced scenes were good. The dream sequence scenes were done really well. There's only so many points you can give it though, with stuff like that. I think they were pretty much impeccably done. With like they did this thing where the sound kind of shifted into more of, I guess, like what's the equivalent sound wise is like bird's eye or muffled or whatever, and then the picture got like film grain, and that's when she was like fell asleep. She's in like the dream realm or whatever, and she was like what do you call that, like kind of like astral projecting or whatever. And I think that was really cool. And there was multiple scenes of that, and it was kind of like a slow burn. It built up, like at first it was kind of like, oh, like it's like I'm exploring in the dream realm. And it took a minute. It took a minute for it to pick up. And, it took a minute for them to get to the actual camp. And then when they get to the camp, there's not really a cast of characters that are going to get it slashed up like you think. And then there was a few adults, counselors, and you're like, okay, this is some good fodder. And then none of them really got slashed up, really. The girl got slashed up on her arm. And now, again, the movie, you don't need to have people get slashed up. It's just like, that's kind of feels like how it was marketed. So, there's the one scene she flips cuts her arm or whatever. And then they, defeat him in the end. So overall, pretty good, but it was a bit disappointing. It could have been like just a really fun kind of, I don't want to say hokey, like hokey in a good way. It could have been hokey in a good way, just like a fun, like ridiculous kind of slasher. And I do wish they just went in that direction, I guess, with it. Trying to think of noteworthy things. Yeah, quote unquote like cringe dialogue. I think it was more or less intentional. Some of it was kind of funny. I don't know. What else? I don't know. Yeah, and in the end they beat him, I guess. Yeah, they beat him. It was kind of cool when they were defeating him. It was kind of cool. Yeah. It little slow, honestly. A little slow, at least slower than like I expected. I'll say that. It was pretty good, but it was like definitely it was slower than I expected. The pacing was from what you expect out of it, the pacing was like, it's been a minute since I've seen the first one, but I want to say it was kind of on par with the first. It might have even been slower if I remember the first correctly in the investigatory like aspect of it. And that does, for me, it didn't work because, yeah, again, the contrast between the preview and then it's like, okay, we're going back to like this style when I thought it was going to be something different, I guess. So Black Phone 2 was okay. Looking forward to the next horror movie. I'm going to be seeing, excuse me, I want to see Begonia pretty bad. I mean, I like the director. I forget who the director of that is. Excuse me. Begonia. Is this, got Emma Stone in that. I didn't spell that correctly. Begonia, and the director is. Oh, okay. The Lobster. Hated Killing of Sacred Deer, actually. This is the director? Okay. We got Poor Things. I heard that was pretty good. Forget what this is. This Dogtooth. I heard this is good. I haven't seen it though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Is he the director or the producer, writer? Will Tracy, you got Begonia. The Menu was really good. I thought The Menu was really good. That was like one of those Netflix kind of like sleeper hits. Like I did not expect this to be as good as it was. That was, yeah, solid 4 for me. I thought The Menu was great. What else about this? Let's see here. Studio crew, producers. I mean, am I going to realistically go through all these? Original writer, okay, editor, da, da, da. Well, I'm looking forward to this regardless, and it has a really good rating. Actually, it's one of the better ratings I've seen recently with movies. Yeah, looking forward to Begonia, and then, I'm not expecting much with Five Nights at Freddy's, but, we got tickets for that next month. What would did I rate the first one here? I didn't even rate the first one. This is probably about right, to be honest. I don't want to just blindly rate. It was, yeah, like a 2.5 probably. It wasn't. I don't think it was that good. It was okay. We'll see the next one. If the robots start going through the city or whatever. I don't know. There was some kind of like deal on this, so we got tickets for it. Yeah, more horror movies. I'll probably start doing horror movie reviews. I want to do more psychology, philosophy type videos, but like just talking about a movie honestly is so easy. Just you throw the webcam on and just talk about a movie for a minute, and then yeah, Skinamarink. Should I talk about that? Should I talk about LongLegs? Do a double review real quick. LongLegs was not very good. There you go. I gave it a 2, so 4 out of 10 in the 10-star. 4 out of 10 for me. I know this is gonna be like people who thought this was so brilliant. It's gonna be, people can't help but over-identify with things that they like and things that they buy and music that they like and movies that they like. And it's kind of the problem with like, right? Here's psychology stuff, right? It's hard not to, like, it's not like I don't do that too, but for me a 2-star is like that's still an entertaining enough film. Like I think like a 4 out of 10 or a 2-star is like that's kind of my cutoff though, where it's like I generally didn't find it to be a good movie, but it had aspects or scenes that I did enjoy, and it was like get throughable basically. Like it wasn't really like awful, but I just don't consider it a good movie. And I think the problem with LongLegs was can we look at the reviews? I think the problem with LongLegs, we had Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. He did a good job. You get about 10 minutes of him the entire movie, and this Nick Cage freak off, I wouldn't even call it that. I mean, he has like 10 minutes of screen time. That's the thing. It was one of these movies that it's very easy if you like really like good shots. If you're like one of the vibe aesthetic type people when you watch movies, I can see you really liking this. And I get the whole like open doors behind her and scenes, and I'd like to think I kind of like understood the meaning of it and everything. Again, always spoilers. I'm just gonna say always spoilers with everything. I'm not gonna do as long of a review for LongLegs, but I get it. She's in a dark room. There's always open doors behind her. The beginning, it almost reminded me of when she's doing this weird like psychologic evaluation. It's almost as Blade Runner-esque, where I forget the exact quote in like even the newer one, but it's like it says a word like sand dune, like yes, and they're like they say something. I forget, and it's gonna sound dumb. I forget what they say, but it's like it gives them a prompt, and they have to like say something, or they say what they're thinking of, or Ryan Gosling has to say a specific thing, and it's kind of like measuring his emotions or whatever. They did that in this movie. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. She did that, and it shows like a triangle, and she says like father or something. So the whole movie, if you read about the alluding to like father, like the demon or whatever, it's kind of like. Within her already, it's kind of like almost controlling her or whatever, has a plan to take control or something. And it's also the shots, what's the word, symbolically, allude to that as well in scenes, because she'll be like in a dark room and there's always kind of like this open, shadowy, spooky door, fear of the unknown behind her. There's always like an open door. Like there's an open door in like the back of her head, So, and if you like that kind of stuff, it was kind of cool. Like it was kind of atmospheric, and but all in all, this movie it all kind of built up to like one scene where someone gets like shot or stabbed or whatever. I forget the end exactly. It was just long. Like it felt long. It was kind of boring. Nicolas Cage must be stopped. This thing, it's all the hype for Nicolas Cage, and it's like he really didn't have that big of a part in it. It was really just the main lady like alone in rooms like a lot. So I don't know. I probably get longer legs, to be honest. That's kind of funny. Trying to convince my dad that yes, this is Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is horrifying. Takes Huss overacting and actually makes it the character. It's just so boring. There we go. This is real. This is real talk. Thought I liked it more the second time, but generally couldn't finish it. Don't even know what I liked about it in the first place. Yeah, I mean, is it true because it agrees with me? Like Cure but bad. Reevaluating this film with some distance. I dragged a friend to go see this with me, even though it's not really their thing. I don't want to read the whole thing, to be honest. Nick Cage could nail the opt up at the end. Nicolas Cage. I'm just seeing that's the patterns of the reviews. You just gotta like the pattern of behavior. Nicolas Cage. Okay, people like Nicolas Cage. He looks scary. Nicolas Cage looks scary. It's like yeah, he did a good job. It's like he didn't have that much screen time in this. It wasn't like that moving or meaningful. To be as good. I think he did a good job. I'm not saying he didn't do a good job. It just wasn't enough for me to like be swayed that it was a good movie. If it was more dialogue, like more characters and dialogue, and then it was really this was like artsy, like this shot, like I gotta rewatch it if I make the claim there wasn't enough dialogue, but I do remember a lot of it was just like dark, spooky house. She thinks she heard a noise, like open, dark doorway behind her, low light. Like that's how I remember this for whatever how long it is. And then people die in the end, and Satan gets her or something. I don't know, like he controls her or something like that. And there's the cool thing you read about it later on. You see in the background there's like a demon head with like horns or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I missed that. But does it make the movie good necessarily for me? Not really. I mean, I think I missed one of the scenes where there was like creepy thing in the background, and I didn't really catch it. Ending's a bit underwhelming, but I like the overall creepy vibes. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a vibes movie. It's like these shots are nice. This dark room contrasts perfectly with her and the low light of the lamp, and there's like a dark doorway, and it's creepy vibes. It's Nicolas Cage. It's Nicolas Cage for like 10 minutes. And very funny. I don't see how it's that funny. Trying way too many things at once. See, even that, I don't know about that. It doesn't really do enough, to be honest. But I kind of agree with the sentiment that it wasn't that good. 4 out of 10, yeah, that's fair. Never forget my long legs. Overhyped, yeah, pretty much. 3.8, yeah. I don't understand 3.8. Oh yeah, no, I disagree with that. I thought that was out of 10. Gonna be Dolls. Yeah, there was Dolls. I do remember that now. It's been a bit since I've seen this. The dolls like controlled people or something. I forget. They were kind of like voodoo dolls in a way. They captured like the soul in the head of the doll or something. I forget. I don't know. The dolls. There was like a doll. there's a doll of her. Maybe I kind of forget. And then they shoot the doll in the end or something, but it doesn't matter because she was like controlled or something. I don't remember. Yeah, it was kind of boring. Sorry, that was just rambling. Not very good. Yeah, a lot of hype, a lot of like hype for this one. 3.3. That's about right, honestly. That's why it's a 6.6 out of 10. I mean, that's my opinion. It's overrated. This is a 4 or a 5 out of 10 movie. It's very middle of the road. It was shot well. The budget's good enough. It's shot well. The acting's it's pretty decent. I think the main actress, she does a good job. I think Nicolas Cage does a good job. It just doesn't really like, it's just not that entertaining overall. That's the thing. And here we go. There's my movie reviews. I just threw this one in there just to get a little more context on horror. The context, I guess, giving you that, like, if you watch this channel, it's like the stuff that you're gonna want to write like a 10-page paper about. Like, I'm usually not gonna like, to be honest. Yeah, I kind of like more. I don't want to even say campy because I hate when horror has way too much comedy because then it's just not horror anymore for me. But I like popcorn flick horror. I want to. It's kind of like explaining. And there's nothing wrong. Let me explain this point explicitly because I really am adamant about this. This is not. It is not about intelligence. It's not like I'm a more intelligent person because I like Longlegs or the movie The Witch or whatever, which, again, I didn't really like that movie. It's not really about, it's kind of like, it's like saying like getting on a roller coaster and like it's a matter of character or intelligence to like a roller coaster. When the roller coaster, it's not a logical thought necessarily. It's just if you like the feeling of the roller coaster, if you like the feeling of the suspense of clicking up the hill or whatever they do nowadays. I'm sure there's new coasters that are different than that. But I remember like the Millennium Force or whatever back in the day. You're slowly clicking up this hill. I mean, that one was a little faster, right? But you're going up this hill and you're getting so high and you're like, oh my god, and then you almost start getting vertigo, like, is this thing gonna tip over or something, and then you go down the hill and I would always kind of like hold my breath like, oh, and then go down it. And it's like you either like a roller coaster or you don't. It's not like a logical thought. You like the feeling of it or not. And sometimes a lot of movies are kind of like that. And if people like the vibes of these movies and they make them feel good and they like that, then more power to them. I'm not trying to like take anything away from you. I just don't like when people act like this is, like, you're a more intelligent person for liking a more, quote unquote complex movie. I would argue it's not even that complex. Like, you read the reviews and it's like good vibes, good shots, good vibes. It has this underlying sense of dread. That's not really like necessarily a complex story. And I don't know, does a roller coaster need to be complex? Just like, I just like popcorn flick horrors, and so maybe Five Nights at Freddy's will be good. Like another example would be like, I think it was called like Megan or whatever. It was like the doll or whatever. That was actually pretty decent. What I give that one? That one was actually pretty decent in my opinion. I saw 2.0, which was, in my opinion, a kind of a disaster. It wasn't very good. It was too much. It was trying to be like Mission Impossible or something. This one, though, I remember it being pretty. I didn't even rate it. See, that meat deserves a solid 2.5, 3. I don't want to be too swayed by this, but I forget what I gave this one. It's actually pretty decent. A creepy doll moving around like a weird animal in the woods, and I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, what do we got here? Silent Hill. Is there a new one, or is this an old one? Oh yeah, Revelation. Silent Hill, the original, video game movie. That movie was fantastic. I think that actually holds up pretty well too. The Silent Hill movie, really good. Good zombie movies. My favorite zombie movie probably was Dawn of the Dead 2008. That one is fantastic. A fantastic horror movie in my opinion. That kind of had everything. I mean, it had like pretty good acting. It had some comedy in it. Just the right amount though. It wasn't like it was. Like terrifying, like the start of it is terrifying. I don't really find horror movies that scary, but when the dad in the beginning scene of Dawn of the Dead and he's bashing through the bathroom door, the daughter, like, it's brutal, like right away. Like, the daughter bites the dad, and the dad's bashing through the bathroom door, and she slips out the window, and the town is like chaos, like things, like a gas station blows up, and then like a cop finds her or whatever, and then they head into this mall, and the zombies are kind of accumulating. out to the mall, and there's a gun shop guy, and it was cool. It was a cool adventure. I like in movies. I love in horror movies too, and movies in general, when people move from different locations and they have to like maybe do something in a location. They have to find somebody. They have to do something, and it's like, and you'd argue like you'd really like action movies. They're okay. I'm not like a huge fan of like. There's some good action movies, but I just like the sense of adventure in any movie. I want things to be moving. Like I generally don't like when a movie is like shot like it's all shot in this one room. It's like okay, that's like kind of boring, but there's ways to do it well. It's not like no movie has ever been good that's like that, but I like the change of location in movies. Um, so yeah, another I can't help but just talk about other movies when I'm talking about movies, but yeah, Black Phone 2. It was okay. It was a bit of a letdown. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it was a letdown. And then threw in Long Legs in there too to contextualize my, I guess my taste in horror movies. So yeah, Long Legs was like it was whatever to me. Like it was, I don't know. There's really nothing to like write home about with that one. And yeah, that's it.